Welcome to Top Floor Women. Excited to have you guys here today. We do this the first Wednesday of every month from 8 to 9:30. So now, Angie Redman is also kind of the co-sponsor of this. She is homesick today, but her company is Strive HR. So she spoke in November. If you want to learn more about her business, you can go back and watch the replays on the YouTube channel. And she and Julie Blair Pitts did a great presentation. So shout out to Angie. She's homesick today. My company is Everyday Leaders. So real quick, I just wanted to do a shout out because January is a really exciting month for me. There's a lot going on. It's my birthday next Friday. So we all have one, right? But I love to give back. And so in January, I'm doing a lot of things that I want to help you get included with. So the first thing is January the 13th, I am hosting an event here called Be More in 2024. And it is an awesome event. It is a replay of the Live to Lead from John Maxwell, which includes Ryan Leake, Marcus Buckingham, John Maxwell, and Kendra Scott. And so there's a ton of learning with it. And so I've collaborated with another John Maxwell coach. And he said, hey, I would love to help your nonprofit raise money for your scholarships for your girls in high school. So he offered to give us $25 off those normal Leader Pass tickets. So it's really a link that you get. So instead of $79, it's $55 for you to get access to that. And then $25 he's donating back to the girls' scholarships. So it's pretty amazing. So I said, I need to give back. So we're going to have an event here, and we're just going to do a 4-hour recap for all the information that we've learned through the teachings. And I've got lots of exercises to help you kind of be more, be challenged, take risk, think about how to chase failure, right, instead of chasing something that we get really anxious about. So lots of lessons and tools on it, but I would love to invite you. We have about 10 more tickets. It's going to be in this room. So if you would like to participate in that, you can just go to everydayleaders.com. It'll pop up, or message me and let me know if you'd like to participate in that. So that's exciting. And then we have Amanda Sparks. You have an Allies breakfast that we're doing, BUNCO breakfast with friends on January the 20th and the 27th on the north side. So just a little flyer about that one to give her a shout out. Lots going on, you guys. Jill, thank you so much for your snacks. Michelle, for the coffee. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to speak about your businesses before we turn it over to Samantha. All right. So, Michelle?
I'm a registered nurse, been in GI endoscopy for many years, 30-some. But on the side, I'm starting a health coaching business with a company called Optavia. And it is a holistic health company trying to work on lifelong transformations, one healthy habit at a time. A lot of people come to the program for weight loss, but it's really more than that. And I would love to share more with anybody who's interested. I don't know if I brought a 1-pound bag or not, so I may need to owe some more. And I'm not a coffee drinker either, so I just wanted to be able to get up and introduce myself, and I'm really glad that Melanie lets us do this. So thank you, and I'll let Jill.
Right there. Good morning. I'm Jill Howell, and I'm an emotional health coach, but what I do is I specialize in trauma recovery, and specifically somatic trauma recovery. If you've never heard of the word somatic, how many of you have heard of that word? I'm just curious. Okay, yeah, it's becoming more known. It's more of a body-led approach. And I got to this place by my own journey of 2 decades of going to traditional talk therapy and it not being enough for me. So I should also mention my first love in business, because I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I've owned a photography business for 14 years. But in the last 3 years, I've been moving towards the emotional health coaching because that's where my deepest heart passion is. I can get choked up thinking about that. Yeah. So I'm kind of transitioning to where I'm 50-50 right now. But yeah, my heart and my passion is to really equip women to be able to move through stress and anxiety and depression, because that's what I experienced. I got to the bottom of myself in the pit of anxiety and depression, and talk therapy wasn't enough. My body was still holding the alarm. So the anxiety and the alarm was still in my body. So I couldn't think my way there. I had to actually show and guide my body back to safety, back to connection, back to a place of learning and rebuilding a relationship with myself to where I could love myself again and look in the mirror and actually see goodness. And so, yeah, my passion, my goal, my heart mission is to help other women, women who have felt like they're stuck in survival mode, felt like they're stuck and they don't know how to get out. I help to rewire the nervous system, which the nervous system just means brain and body connected. So I'm a mind-body coach. I work with embodied healing and helping women to recover after chronic stress. So, yes, I'm Jill Howell, and feel free to chat with me if you are interested or if you know anybody else who might be interested or in need of those services.
It's great to see you. So Samantha Tishner, I heard her on Zoom with Top Floor Women during COVID, and I was like, I'm so excited that she wants to come do this live. So I wanted to do kind of a formal introduction because, you know, we're all about healing ourselves for the first of the year. So her company, Heal First, Love Second, as you see right here. When you love yourself first, she says, your life gets easier and more peaceful. Relationships improve. Making decisions that honor your values, needs, and wants becomes simple. You're able to create the life that you love. So, Samantha, I'm going to turn it over to you, and thank you so much for coming today.
I've been given the thumbs up that we're good now. Okay. So, in 2017, I was sitting on the floor of my small walk-in closet with tears running down my face, wondering how I got there again. Is there anybody in this room who have ever had an experience where you can't believe you're there again? You have that devastation, you have that hurt, you have that sorrow that this has happened once again. It was on that day that I decided I never wanted to experience that again. So over the next year, I went on a self-guided discovery journey. And during that journey, I learned how to respect myself, how to know what I want, and how to take the leap of faith towards something that I really, truly wanted and desired. And as a result, my relationships improved, not just romantic relationships, but all my relationships improved. I found more confidence in who I was and what I was doing. I found a man unlike any that I had dated in the past, which I married a year ago. And most of all, for the first time in my life, I developed a relationship and a love for myself. So my name is Sam, and I am a relationship coach for women. And I help women to develop healthy, loving relationships with themselves. And you may ask why that is important. Your whole life will change if you have a healthy, loving relationship with yourself. So I have worked with many women over the past few years, and it has been incredible to see how their lives have changed just by developing that loving relationship with themselves. And it has helped them to bring more peace, more love, and more joy into their lives. So I have created a 3-step process to help you develop a healthy, loving relationship with yourself. And today I want to share that with you. There are some handouts if you guys want to take notes, if you want to write your grocery list, whatever it is you want to do while I'm talking, feel free. But you know, if you're writing, I'm just going to assume you're taking notes, so we're good. Okay, so step number 1 is to know, like, and trust yourself. This is something we have heard in many different cases, especially if you are somebody that works with other people. You need to get people to know, like, and trust yourself. Well, the goal for this is for you to know, like, and trust who you are. Step number 2 is to be able to define what you want in your life. If you cannot define what you want, how will you know when you have gotten there? And step number 3 is to take that leap of faith, to take the steps to get out of your comfort zone and to step in that direction that you want to go. So that's it. 3 steps. Easy, right? No problem? Everybody's got it? We're good? Done talking today? I know doing the work for ourselves, doing the work on ourselves, getting to know ourselves can truly be one of the hardest things that we will do as women. I have heard many women say, I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. You don't know what I've done in my past. I don't deserve this. Or maybe, as women, if I take time for me, I'm taking away from doing for other people. Whether you're a mom, you're a wife, maybe you have, you're career-oriented and you have a demanding job. There are women who feel that if they take any time for themselves, they're taking away from giving to others. But I want to tell you today, by doing the process, by getting to know yourself and truly loving yourself, it fills your cup. It gives you more energy so that you have more to give. This piece, and I know we've heard it in many different people speaking, that self-care and taking care of yourself, that's one part of it, but also getting to know yourself and truly loving and appreciating who you are, that is another piece that is extremely important. So, we want to talk about respect. So in the first step is to know, like, and trust yourself with respect. So R-E-S-P-E-C-T. This is something, in this particular step, there are 7 areas for us to focus. And in respect, there are 7 letters. So we're going to go through respect today. So starting with our step number 1, our letter number 1, which is R, and that is reconnect with who you are. When my coach asked me for the first time, Sam, who are you? I stumbled with the answer. And the only thing I could come up with is I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I work for this company, and this is the job I do. She's like, no, Sam, that's who you are to other people. That's what you do for other people. Who are you inside? And that was a very difficult question for me to answer, and it took me a while to come up with that answer. But today, I stand before you as I'm a woman, I love God, and I want my path in my life to be where He is leading me. He has given me the gift of listening, which helps me to do my job as a coach. He has given me the gift of compassion, which helps me to be a good daughter, a good wife, a good friend. And He has also given me the gift of curiosity, which truly helps me to continue to grow and change and seek better in my life. I love to explore the beauty in this world, whether it is with meeting new people, experiencing other cultures, travel, everything. That is who I am at the core. Who are you? Can you answer that question? If not, I want you to put a star by that on your sheet and come back to it and make sure you truly dive in to try and be able to explain who you are outside of who you are to other people in your life. Okay, so moving on, we have E for establish your likes and dislikes. My coach, again, Sam, what do you like? What do you not like? I couldn't tell her. I was a mom. I was working at the company. I was a wife. I did so much for other people. I didn't take time for me. I didn't do things for me. My schedule was mostly dictated by my children. So I did not know what I liked and disliked. I have created an exercise. It's a worksheet. It's my accomplishments exercise. And this is something that I do with the clients that I work with. And what it does is it helps you to reconnect with those things that you truly do love and enjoy in life, to where you can start getting connected with who you are again and what you like and what you don't like. And if you would like a copy of the exercise, on the back page of your handout, you can check a box and give me your email address, and I'd be happy to email it to you. But it is a fun exercise that really helps you to kind of reconnect and to kind of dive deep back into who you are at the core. So moving on to our third letter, which is S, setting healthy boundaries. This is a big one, and it's one that we talk about and we hear about in many different areas. Who here feels like that they are really good at setting boundaries? Yeah, that's good. That's good. I know, I think setting boundaries is one of those that it's a constant growth. You know, you may set healthy boundaries at work, but maybe at home, not so much. Or maybe you set healthy boundaries with your kids, but, you know, with your friends and family, with the church, whatever it is, you can't seem to set those healthy boundaries. It is important for us to be able to set the healthy boundaries so that we can leave time for ourselves. How many of you have put, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week, and you actually put it on your calendar, and then come up with excuses on those days of, oh, I can't do it this morning because I got to take my daughter here, or I can't do it this morning because I got a big presentation. I've got to get into work to make sure that I get that done. I have done that so many times in my life, but if you set something up that you're going to get movement in, or you're going to take time, quiet time for yourself, or you want time to read, put it on your calendar. Honor that time. Make sure that you truly don't let anything interrupt it. If you have to shift it a couple minutes here or there, or if some emergency comes up that you have to take care of, make sure you fill that back in. Don't let it just fall off your calendar and not do it. So setting healthy boundaries. Another way to set healthy boundaries, how many of you have relationships that could use some healthy boundaries? That is another thing too. By setting healthy boundaries in those relationships, it's amazing to see how the relationship change, how you feel, and how everything goes. I had a boss that when I started setting healthy boundaries, he didn't like it, but man, it felt good. It was amazing to be able to set those boundaries and to honor it. So you can set boundaries in many different areas of your life. So if there is something that's coming to mind now, write it down, because that's probably something you need to set a boundary for. Okay, moving on. We have letter P, and that is pause the negative. Pause the self-criticism, the self-judgment, the negative self-talk. When you experience this in your mind, when you see yourself going down that rabbit hole that you are hearing that negative chatter in your brain, I want you to take a pause. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And I'm giving you permission to talk to yourself, because I want you to say, I no longer want to speak to myself that way. I forgive myself. And then I want you to say something kind about yourself. And this could be something kind in regards to the way that you look, or a special feature that you know you have. You know, if your eyes, you love your eyes, or your hair, or your smile. You know, if there are certain, body parts and stuff that you feel are particularly attractive, and you like the way that you look. I want you to be able to say something kind about yourself. Now, by pausing, stopping the negative chatter, recognizing that, hey, I'm doing this, I'm sorry, I forgive myself for this, you're bringing awareness to it. The more you bring awareness, the easier it is going to be to recognize it and stop it moving forward. And then, by saying something positive about yourself, you're replacing that negative with something positive. And the more that we can start focusing and seeing that positive in our life, or start thinking about that positive, the more you will easily see the positive and be able to shift away from the negative. So pause the negative. All right, our next letter is E, for elevate your self-appreciation. Find the good in you and honor it. We are all beautiful and unique in our diversity. I encourage you to make a list of the things that you love about yourself. And if you have an issue finding those things that you love, ask a friend, ask a family member, what are the good things about me? And then even if you truly don't believe it, I want you to read that list every morning. I want you to start your day with reading that list of, these are the good things about me. These are the good things I want to honor about me. By doing this, it is going to help you shift into that positive, and you are going to start seeing more positive things about yourself, and you're going to be able to step in to what that is that other people see about you. I worked with a woman a couple years ago, and she came to me, she's like, Sam, I can't look in the mirror. I absolutely do not like the way that I've looked. I am just horrified that who I have become and what I have become. I can't look in the mirror. After a few sessions of us working together, we were able to shift that mindset. There was nothing in her physically that changed, but she came in one day and she's like, Sam, I look good today, and I'm excited about it. She was able to see her beauty that she has. It doesn't matter our shape, our size. It doesn't matter our hair color. It doesn't matter anything. We are all beautiful and unique just as we are. So being able to find that beauty is extremely important. So make that list and read it every single day until you don't have to read it off the list anymore. You just know it in your heart. Moving on to C. Let's cut the cord on your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs could include, I am not worthy, or I am not enough. Pay attention when you say, I can't, or this is just how I was raised. This is how I've always done it. This is just how I am. Anybody can change, and you just have to take that step to be able to change. When you hear those words, those are limiting beliefs. Those are things stopping you from going where you need to be. Does anybody in here have a dream or something that just kind of keeps nagging at you saying, hey, you should do this, but you don't? There are all kinds of excuses that keep you held back from taking that step, getting out of your comfort zone and going in that direction you need to. Being able to let go of those limiting beliefs and truly step into who you are, you can create a life that is absolutely amazing. And if somebody would have told me that years ago, I probably would have said, But I've lived it. And my life, if you knew me 5, 6 years ago, I was a totally different person than I am today. And it's just amazing by doing these different steps, how it truly does change your life. Okay, we're going to move on to the last one. This is a big one. Take back your freedom with forgiveness. Forgiving yourself and others for your past hurt. Now, this can be a very difficult one, and when I first started down my forgiveness journey, it was really tough for me. But once you can start on that journey, it's amazing the freedom that you receive. I have a friend who told me, he's like, Sam, if you don't forgive, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. If you don't forgive, it creates darkness within you. It creates bitterness. It creates resentment. But when you forgive, it creates so much hope and light and freedom for you to be able to have something new in your life. And it's amazing how it just opened things up for you by being able to forgive and to let go of that baggage that we tend to carry with us through our lives. So there we go. Know, like, and trust yourself with respect. So reconnect with who you are, establish your likes and dislikes, set healthy boundaries, pause the negative, elevate your self-appreciation, cut the cord on your limiting beliefs, and take back your freedom with forgiveness. By getting to know yourself through respect, as listed here, you will create a healthy, loving relationship with yourself. and it will change the trajectory of your life. Over the last few years, I've worked with many different women, and I have some incredible stories. But today, I'm going to share with you my story. So my story, it did start in 2017. Sitting on the floor of that small walk-in closet, because that was the only place in my house that I could truly get alone and escape everybody else in there. So I was sitting on that floor and I was crying because I couldn't believe that I was there again. You see, I was going through my second divorce. We had only been married for 3 years. And during this time, I realized it was not healthy and it was hurting us. And not only us, but it was hurting our children too. So I decided that something needed to change. And as I started thinking, I ignored so many red flags before we got married. When I was at work, I was a leader at work. The company I worked for, I was part of the leadership team. Many people came to me at the company and asking for guidance, asking for direction. I was very confident. I was a leader. I was a professional, and I was making a difference. But when I was at home, it was not the same way. I did not feel confident. I felt unseen, unheard, empty, alone, and unloved. Because of the frustration within my relationships, in my relationship, sometimes I would say ugly things or nag to try and inspire or motivate. Note to self. Saying something negative, saying something ugly does not inspire or motivate. So we can write that one down too. That doesn't work, I can tell you. Have any of you ever said something in your relationship out of frustration for that relationship and wish that you could take that back? That would be something that truly hurt the other person or just made you feel horrible inside. In that marriage, I was becoming somebody I did not like, and I knew I needed to change it. So, sitting on the floor of that small walk-in closet, wondering how I got there again, I was beginning to think that I was the crash test dummy for relationships. But I heard a soft knock at the door, and a quiet voice said, "Mom, are you okay?" Of course, I do what most moms do. I decided to gather myself up, choke back the tears, and say, "Yes, I'm fine," in the strongest voice I could muster at the time. How many women have done that? We feel that we cannot be vulnerable with anybody. We always have to be strong. We put up a front and say that we are okay even when we are not. I decided that day I did not want to live that way. That was not the example that I wanted to set for my children. It was not the example that I wanted to set for my 2 girls. So it was that day that I decided I wanted to make a change. So I started researching. I started seeking and investing to be able to try and find a better life. I found some amazing authors and amazing speakers out there. And the women that I was drawn to, their theme was love yourself. So in 2017, I did complete my second divorce. I got a dog who became my companion while my teenagers were out living their teenage lives. I focused on my growth and my commitment to myself of never doing that again. I did not want another failed relationship. I didn't know if I would ever get married again, but I was going to make sure that I was going to do the change because I was the common denominator in both of those marriages. So there was something that I knew I needed to work on. So with that, during one of my trainings, this was a quote that came up that really changed my thoughts. If you do not love and appreciate yourself, you will attract others who do not love and appreciate you. So I'm going to say that again. If you do not love and appreciate yourself, you will attract others who do not love and appreciate you. That was a big aha moment for me, because when I looked at both of my marriages, I felt unseen, unheard, unloved. And then I realized I never took the time to get to know me, to see me, or to love me. So that is what I attracted within both of my marriages. Even though they were different in some ways, it was still the same type of guy. So, with the research and the books, I found a lot of really good information. But it wasn't until I invested in myself that I truly made some big change. I signed up with a coach, and she helped me to get to know me. You know, all those questions I was saying earlier that I was struggling with to answer? She asked me all those questions and helped me to find my answers within. She helped me to get to know who I was. She helped me to have more confidence in who I was. She helped me to see me and to be able to appreciate who I am in this world. And you may think that that is not something that's a very big or significant change. But I'm here to tell you, my whole life trajectory changed because of those changes that I made. And I am the person that I am today and doing what I'm doing today because it truly changed my life, and that is something that I want to share. So with that growth, my relationships changed for the better, all of them. Remember, I had teenage kids at the time. Truly, they changed as well. Good opportunities just started opening up for me that I never dreamed would have happened. I was in marketing and creative for 30 plus years, and now I'm a coach. That's not a normal transition into jobs, but it happened for me, and I absolutely love the job that I do. I felt stronger and more empowered. My confidence rose. I found joy for the first time in my life at age 48. I was driving to work one Tuesday morning. It was a random Tuesday. I was laughing and giggling for no reason. No reason. I felt like I was going a little crazy, but you know, it felt good and I was happy with it. So I just ran with it. But one of the most important things that I learned was I found the contentment and peace with being me, which felt incredible. I no longer had to look outside myself for approval. I did not need a husband or a companion, a boyfriend to complete me. I was good with who I am, and it was amazing to be in that spot in my life. So that's when I got into my stage of starting to study to be a relationship coach for women. I want to help women to find that same peace and contentment in their lives and in who they are so that they can create the life that they truly desire. I want to be able to share this gift with all women. And I would have to say that this job is the most rewarding job I have ever had. So I absolutely love the women that God aligns in my path to be able to help work with. And I love to see them find those aha moments where it's like, oh my gosh, this is it. It is amazing to see those changes happen. So I created this 3-step process to help women to develop a healthy, loving relationship with themselves, to know, like, and trust yourself with respect, to be able to define what you want so you can make a plan to get there, and to take that leap of faith to move towards the life that you truly want and desire. I encourage each of you, if there is any area of unhappiness in your life, seek to change it. You have the power within you. And if you are struggling with finding that power or that direction, get a counselor, get a therapist, get a coach. Find somebody to help you find those answers within and to move you forward. It is amazing how changing that one thing, the relationship with yourself, will change your whole entire life and everyone in it. Thank you for letting me share with you today.